Recording. Yeah, perfect. Okay, welcome to the class, everybody. Welcome, welcome, and more welcome. I hope you guys are having yourself a swell of a day. I'm just gonna open my video. Hello, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us today. I hope that wherever you are, we have a international class going on. Students from all around the world are coming and joining us today. From what I'm gathering, we have students from India, students from the Philippines, students from Iran, I believe a few from Kenya and beyond. So it's a very interesting class, and also China. So it's a very interesting class, and definitely it is going to be exciting to teach you guys BUSI 3613 leadership in project management. Okay. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hopefully give you guys some ground rules before we start the class. Just a little bit about what the class is, what to expect, and what this class is all about. So nonetheless, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about me. I'm your instructor. My name is Yoav Yosipovich. I'm going to be your instructor for the next 11 weeks. Myself, I have about 20 years experience within the industry. I been doing project management around international business, supply chain, marketing and sales, and even operations. My educational background, I have a MBA from Queen's University out in Kingston, Ontario, as well as a double major from Ryerson University in downtown Toronto, and a diploma from Seneca College in Toronto for international business. Uh, Most of the my career, I've been working in large, small, medium-sized corporations, seeing it all, being it with it all. And what I currently do is I teach, and when I don't teach, most of the time I consult. Okay, so a lot of times, if you do not see me teaching, I will do some sort of consulting and help out within a company. My teaching philosophy is a very simple, guys. I love to teach as much as I love to learn. And who to learn from? You guys. So definitely, I love to hear from you guys. I love to see what you guys have and definitely bring things to the table. I try not to blab the whole time that I'm here, but definitely, if you have any, suggestions, anything you guys want to talk about, I'm always open for it. I like to see you give your best shot in this class. Okay. This class is not that difficult, but you do have to do the work. You have to think outside the box here and try your best. It's a very effort-oriented class. I love to hear from you and love to hear about the subject or any other business issues you may have. You're always free to ask me. Okay. I'm always here for my students. And definitely, I'm here for your goals. Other than that, I'm just going to give you a quick roundabout on the ground rules before we start the class, my own ground rules on how you can succeed in the class and do well in the next 11 weeks. So the ground rules are very simple, guys. What are the ground rules meant for? Basically, it's for your success.
Hello,
Um,
Professor. Hello,
uh, uh,
everyone.
Hi. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So we have ground rules going on, and most of the ground rules are for your success in the class. They are meant for seeing that you will do well in it, and to definitely guide you through the semester. Okay, to see that you will be doing well in the semester, to have expectations. So I have some expectations from you guys on how well you should do in this class. Also understand from what I expect you guys, you know, what you expect from me as an instructor. Be able to understand my teaching practices. Okay, because again, I have my own teaching philosophies, my own teaching practices, but at the same time, I also have, you know. The fact that we're in a global class, the fact that we're going to be teaching this class, remote. Okay, so it's a little bit challenging. So I want to make the most of the class. Okay, it's doable to do this class, online and virtual. The only thing you have to do is be on top of your game here. Okay, a lot of times if the students are not on top of their game, they don't make the most of their class, and unfortunately, they kind of miss out on some of the activities. So now let's, guys. What do I expect from you guys? Very simple. Four merits that are very important here. Be punctual, be on time. Okay, I want you guys to come to class when it's ready. Our class is 6 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, or it's going to be, of course, it's going to be available, at when we open it. So normally I would have the class open right at 5:55 in the morning every Wednesday. Okay, so be able to come to class, contribute to class, and hopefully make the most out of it. Also take some notes when you're in class. Okay, make the most of your learning. Okay, I don't hope that you sit idle for most of the class. It won't give you good returns on it. So try to make notes, ask many questions, and be able to know where to find the references. Most of the time, any information that we have is going to be on Moodle. And at the end of our lecture, I'm going to show you exactly where it is. Okay. So, for example, if you need the lecture notes, it's available right now. Okay. It's available right now on Moodle. If you go to important announcements in our class, you'll see it. Okay. So I don't leave anything behind. Everything is available for you guys. And what I like to do is I want to make sure that you make the most out of your lessons. Okay. But also, you guys have expectations from for myself, of course. You guys expect me to also rise up to the standards. And definitely, what you should expect from me is have a great class. Make the most out of it. Any questions will be answered promptly. I know we have different time zones. Some of my students are in a time zone where it's right now it's around 6 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock at night. Some students are in 7 hours ahead, which means that it's 1 o'clock or even 3 o'clock in their time zones. Other students, of course, are, I believe, just ask Johnson, where exactly are you? GD, Jide, Johnson.
Yes, Professor.
Uh,
At the moment, I'm in Nigeria.
Nigeria, perfect. Okay, so Nigeria is about 5 hours away. It's 7 o'clock at your
Yeah, at the
time.
moment it's like 12, like lunchtime, 12,
Lunch.
13.
All right, having a meal.
Yeah, on this side.
Okay, perfect. Okay, wonderful. Breakfast of champions or lunch of champions. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, everybody's in different time zones, but we use the Eastern Standard Time Zone for our class. But nonetheless, of course, we're going to. I'll try to answer the questions as fast as possible. Normally 24 to 40 hours turnaround, but I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Okay. Another thing you should expect from me is that I give you instruction and guidance whenever needed. The class will be scheduled and will be handled when given. And last but not least, one of the last pillars that's very important is having a fantastic semester. Okay. So that's what I will promise you guys to have. Other than that, guys, the class is very hands-on. How will the class be held? Very simple, guys. The class will be held in a scheduled time, and normally the scheduled time is 6 in the morning until 9. Okay. Normally, the class will not go on for for that long, but normally I will have the class open, and you guys will be able to eventually utilize the time that we have. Other than that, I'll give you some office hours. So if you want some one-on-one with me, or you need some guidance, I will definitely open up some office hours if you need it. If it's a little bit non important, you can also be able to email me, send me a private message. You can even send me a private message on Zoom. Okay, send me a private message, and definitely let me know what's going on so I can assist you and help you as soon as possible. Other than that, emails, and more emails. You can email me anytime. Don't be worried about it. I'm always here for my students. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate hear from you guys. If you need anyone to talk to, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm here to support you guys wherever it may be. Okay. Also, I'm also here to help you guys. So if you need to talk to somebody about the subject, let me know. If you want to talk about your careers, also let me know. I'm always here to help you guys out. Okay, so whatever the question might be, I will be always happy to help you guys. Other than that, also, what I will do is, if for whatever reason, and I'll talk to you guys about the class and the operations of the class. If you need, for example, for whatever reason you want to still be live in class, you cannot attend it. You can always there's other classes that are available, and I'll have the class open for you guys, and I'll give you guys that option. Yeah, Janera, you had a question?
Sir, I'm just letting you know that Jarling Shao is messaging me that she's waiting on the thing to come to join in the Zoom. Thank you.
Jialing,
Yeah.
Zhao. She's in the
Oh,
class.
Okay.
Jialing, are you here?
Okay.
yeah,
Thank
yeah, I'm in. Thank you.
Okay,
you. Thank you,
sure.
Professor.
You're very welcome. So yeah, you can email me anytime you want, guys. However, but guys, just so you know, some emails that are not cool. I call them not cool emails because I just don't see them as professional emails. But some emails, I kind of question why you send me the emails in the first place. Mind you, this class has a lot of deliverables, a lot of assignments, but it doesn't have an exam, which is good. I don't like exams. I don't feel exams show students. Students are under pressure a lot of times on exams, and it's not really fair. So they have a lot of assignments. So I'll tell you the breakdown in the other half of the class. Um, but what I would like to explain with the emails is that some emails that I would consider that are not cool is that we speak about it in class, and then you message me about it again. I kind of have to ask, are you paying attention in class? Okay, so for example, if I tell you about a due date and then you send me a message about when is the due date, did you take notes, right? So those are not emails that are okay. If you're writing on why you didn't finish an assignment, okay, that's not a problem because some assignments are just like one page, yet you're sending me like 5 pages. Tell me what's going on. And I understand there's a lot of issues, okay, but I kindly ask that if there's an issue, try to figure it out as soon as possible. Try to organize yourself. You guys are university students, and make sure that you can deliver ahead of time. Okay, so these are kind of training for you guys later on in life, where when you go out there in the workforce, you're able to do the best that you can. Also, wasting my time sometimes. Wasting my time means like that you're sending me an email, it's going back and forth. And by wasting time means if you waste my time, I'll waste your time, and I cannot waste your time. So usually it means wasting your marks, and I don't want to do that. And also not being able to complete what's given. Okay, so if you're, having a hard time, delivering the work, and it's an issue, we need to talk about it. Okay. But nonetheless, I hope that the class will be exciting and thrilling for you guys. What I hope to take out of it is that we're going to have a good class, we're going to have a fun class, and eventually we're going to deliver what's needed. But what happens when the emails are still not cool? The result is very simple. I have quite a lot of sections, and usually I simply ignore it. I mean, if I cannot help it, I just do not want to put more input on it, so I just ignore it. Sometimes, if the emails are not appropriate, I will resend it to you. Sometimes marks will be deducted, and I'll explain why the marks will be deducted. Normally, the students kind of like send me an email when they did something wrong, even when they do not submit an assignment, or they submitted an assignment but there's integrity issues. Clearly, you're going up to a policeman and telling him I did something wrong, but spare me. And most common policemen, policewomen might not see it at the same light as you, and definitely I do not. But try to be out of the that realm where you get into issues, and using an email as kind of a protection for your wronging. Sometimes students may be also put on risk. Okay, student at risk, meaning that they need to assess and maybe support you in different ways to get you up to par in the university level. And last but not least, the last thing I want you guys to do is retake the class because of actions you did. Okay, so last thing I want to do is see you guys next semester in the I guess the spring semester. I don't really want to see that, and this class is only 22 weeks. Sorry, no, 11 weeks. I don't want you guys to be in class for over 22 weeks, on the same subject. It just doesn't make sense, okay? But the idea here is not that I'm enforcing too harsh, stringent rules here. The idea is that I want you guys to succeed. Same thing again with the assignments and the test. Please be prepared for all assignments and tests. If you are not prepared for any of the deliverables, tests, or assignments. We don't have any tests in this class. We just have assignments and quite a lot of assignments. But if you are on top of your game here, you should do well. But if you are not on top of your game, you miss, due dates, you technically give up your mark. You lose marks, okay? You forfeit marks here. I do not want to see that, okay? Another thing is that I planned the class very, very well. So I'm not going to tell you today we have a class. Tomorrow we're going to have an assignment. Okay. I give you guys a lot of time to complete an assignment, but you will get time to complete the assignment, and I will give you a syllabus on how it's going to be broken down. So normally, what's going to happen is that you will be able to have a syllabus, and I usually will tell you, well, today we have an assignment. It's due in 2 weeks or so, okay? So I'm one of the few teachers that will give you some advanced timing so that you can plan your assignments, complete them, and deliver them to me. Tests, again, we don't have tests, but if we did have a test, it will be only in class and at specified times, okay? Other than that, guys, 3-day grace, just so that you know, I'm one of the few instructors that will give you something called the 3-day grace rule. Okay, 3-day grace has an option to give students who did not submit an assignment on time, meaning it's late, it's due, to still give you a option to submit it for marks. However, is it full marks? No. Marks will be deducted, and I will dictate where the deduction is. So marks will be at a minimal 5% per day, and it can go up to 20% per day depending on the circumstance. Okay, so the 3-day grace says to you, for example, most of our assignments are due Sunday at midnight or 11:59 p.m. So if you cannot deliver at that time, you get marks deducted, but you can still submit it. You can submit it anytime on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and then it will be closed. Okay. So the 3-day grace period says to you that if you need more time for whatever reason, okay, you need more time because work schedule, you need time because there's a problem with your computer, you need time for whatever reason, even travel. All right, I've had students a couple semesters ago travel in the middle of the semester and they cannot submit. That's fine, but we give an option that if you still need time, 72 hours, I'm pretty sure that any travel anywhere around the world, it's usually about 24 hours. So I don't think you need more time than that. So if you need, a day of travel, absolutely. And then you want to complete the assignment, even better. Okay. That's your call. All right. But you have to decide, what's more important, delivering on time, getting the maximum marks, or unfortunately getting the marks reduced. Okay. The same thing, of course, is that I do not mark your assignments on the due date. I only mark them 3 days after. Okay. So the first assignment we're going to have, you're going to submit it to me on a Sunday, and then by Wednesday or even Thursday, I will start to mark it. Okay. Same thing will apply to test, guys, but we don't have a test in this class. But if we did have a test, you need to have 3 days to document why you missed the test, talk to the right administration, and then be able to be eligible to retake the test altogether. Okay. All right. Free-day grace is a blessing, but it can also be a curse. I had students before who literally every single assignment did the took advantage of the free-day grace and lost marks that they could have been in the 90 percentile, but unfortunately they decided that a B minus is more relevant or even less. Okay. So please, guys, once or twice, we understand. But if it happens again, it might be a problem. Okay. But the 3-day grace is there for you guys. All right. Other than that, guys, interruption in class, you can always raise your hand. Don't worry about it. But this goes mostly for I would say, live class. Okay. Try not coming late to class. Normally, our doors in our class are in the front sometimes, so it would interrupt my lecture. But we're in a virtual class, so it's not you don't have to worry about it. Try not make any noise or interrupting the class. Talk in the middle of the lecture. Sometimes students, even in our break, they blast music. That's okay. I like music from around the world even. But try not, try not to interrupt the class because unfortunately, there's a lot of students and try to be respectful at all times. Okay. Not to just myself, but to your next door neighbor. And sometimes when you chit chat in the middle of class, it may interrupt me. But it doesn't affect, of course, a virtual class. But sometimes what happens is that by accident, students may leave, their microphone open, and then all of a sudden, your conversation with your family members is a conversation in class. Okay, all of a sudden, we hear what's going on in the background, so try not to do so. But the moral here is be respectful to the class, to myself, to your teacher, to your students, to yourself, and try not to interrupt when there's a class schedule. Other than that, moral of the story here, guys, is very simple. You need to complete the work when given. Like I mentioned, there's no test in this class, but you need to hopefully complete it on time. I'm not here to read excuses on why you didn't finish the work, guys. I'm here to give you deliverables. I'm here to challenge you guys, but try not to, give me some, roundabout on why this wasn't completed. You need to do your best in the class, give your best shot, and you can see where the dividends will be given. You need to have a good eye for the prize, not just, for example, in school, but in real life as well. I'm training you guys for the real world and hopefully to get you in a project management role in the future. And again, if you did not understand any of this PowerPoint presentation, especially on the ground rules, I will send it to you. So if, for example, you send me an email that we talked about something in regards to this ground rules and you did not understand it, you will see this PowerPoint presentation. It's not as a blessing, but it's as a warning that something needs to change and you need to work on it as soon as possible. Okay. But nonetheless, guys, I'm here to work with you guys, and I'm here to see that you succeed in the class. So how do you succeed in the class? Very simple. Participate. Participation is very, very important. Complete your assignments on time. Okay. Take notes when needed. Try not to cheat or copy the work, and I'll explain why. And finish all deliverables. Okay. So that's kind of like the 5 pillars, I would say, on succeeding in the class. Okay. I'm not a harsh marker. I'm a fair marker, but definitely if show up to class, I know who you are. You complete your assignments on time. You're not you know going on my wrong radar. You make notes. You understand what's going on. You do not copy and paste the work and cheat or share the work with your individuals. You should be okay. And finish all the deliverables on time. You will be successful in the class and you will have a good time. Okay. Other than that, cheating plagiarism, guys, I just want to round about because there's a lot of assignments in this class. So I want to discuss a little bit about it. Number one, according to Yorkville U policies, it's not tolerated. So please try not to play around with it. I would say there's micro um, deliverables, micro assignments. Those micro assignments do not have turn it in system, but when you deliver to me your group work, when you deliver to me things that are over 10%, I have to, well, the school will mandate, will force, turn it in to be operational. Now, the thing with Turnitin is that you see it as a percentile. Okay. So when you submit it to me and then you get like, let's say, let's throw a number here, like 30% plagiarized, sometimes it puts students at unease. Okay. And the reason is that they see 30% and then they kind of, you know, go into this mode where let's talk to the teacher about it. Let's see what they have to say. So basically what they're doing is that they're coming up to the teacher saying, hi, I got 30% plagiarized, even though there's a lot of variables here, a lot of different reasons why, and they'll tell me what can I do with it. All right. And the first thing I have to do, and I'm following the rules here, is that I have to investigate. Okay. And when we talk about percentiles, um, and I'll give you an example. I had students who had like 75% plagiarized according to the system. They got 90% because they used a template and that was instructed. Then I had students who only had like 1 or 2%, but I actually found out where they plagiarized it, and that was, flagged. Okay, so you can have 2%, you can have 75%, 100%. I don't know, but there's a lot of variables on how and why. So sometimes what I get is emails from you guys about, I submitted an assignment, I got like X amount percent plagiarized. What can I do with it? All right, and a lot of times they would ask me to delete it, which doesn't help, and all these things. And even if I delete it, I have to talk to another department, and then they would recommend a teacher, another teacher, to look over it. Okay, so it puts you in a very, very uneasy position. Okay, but if you submit it, you get like a percentage of like 15, 20, 30% plagiarized. You did it correctly, you followed APA format, you did it nicely, and there's no issues, you shouldn't have a problem. Okay. But sometimes what happens is that they send me an email out of curiosity, and sometimes it goes in the wrong direction, and marks sometimes will be deducted depending on the circumstance. If you rally with an email and the email doesn't go towards your favor, okay? So unfortunately, guys, if you submit it correctly, you did the good work here, you shouldn't have a problem. But you should show your integrity and show that you did the work and you did it nicely. Okay. Other than that, what else do I have for you guys? Not much. Does anyone have any questions about the ground rules? Any questions that you guys want me to clarify? Going once.
No question, Professor.
Thank you. Going twice. Thank you. With a thumbs up from Shivam. Thank you. All right. Not a problem, guys. Absolutely. If you have any further questions, send me an email and I'll be more than happy to answer it. Other than that, guys, we are on our first hiatus. I have a break in the middle, but do you guys want to take a break now, or should I go further? Do you guys want me to go further?
I would like a break to get coffee.
Coffee. All right, coffee is very important. All right, no problem. Let's take a break, guys. Okay, and what I'll do is the timer now is 6:45. Let's take a break, okay, and then we'll be back at 6:45 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so I'm gonna write it down on our boards. 1 second. Where is? Perfect. Take a break. Be back at 6:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll see you soon. Okay, take a 10. Take a 10, and we will be back. Okay, have a good one. Take a coffee break, and I will see you very, very shortly. Bye for now. recording. In our first chapter, we're going to talk about modern project management and understanding how modern project management has evolved and why we take it, and of course, how we can manage and lead a project altogether. So in our discussion for today, we're going to reflect on the network and the relationship that's needed to be managed in order to have a successful project management happen. We're going to identify the attributes of leadership and the success in project management, engage, understanding how to engage project. There's a terminology we're gonna introduce yourself to called MBWA, management by walking around. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to become a distinct and creative manager at the end of the day. We're also going to discuss the importance of management and talk about the relationship, maintaining a positive, healthy relationship within our stakeholders. Okay, stakeholders can be anybody. All right. So when you work in a project, especially a public project, anybody and everybody, including your taxpayers, can be part of a project. So it has to make sure that you take care of your stakeholders and make sure that your stakeholders are going to be part of your system. You're also going to justify and discuss the importance of building trust for project success, and prioritizing some of the qualities of an effective project manager at the end of the day. Okay. So a lot of times what's going to happen is within our project, we're going to make sure that we understand everything that project has. So first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about what is needed. First and foremost, welcome again to unit number 1 of this course. In unit number 1, you are required to review part number 1, section 3.44 and section 3.45 of the project management guide to the body of knowledge. Okay, project management PM book. Now here's a PM book. I think I have it somewhere lying here. Nope. 1 second. I'm gonna look at my library to see if I have it. Is that my book? No, that's strategy. Nope. Weird. Where do I keep my project book? It's my most important book and prized possession. I don't have it, but oh wait, is that the one? 1 second. Oh. Okay. So guys, this is the book that I'm referring to. The book that I'm referring to is this one right here, The Project Management by Knowledge. This is the 6th edition. But there is newer edition. There's a newer edition that was made. Is there a difference? Not really. It's the same, kind of concept. But I do recommend that you guys, hopefully read over it. Okay. Again, 1 second. JJ, can you identify yourself? I'm not sure who JJ is. JJ.
Oh yes, sorry about that.
Uh,
I switched computer. I will change my name now.
Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So in this section, guys, you are required to review part number 1 of the PM book. Now, should I get the PM book? Again, given that you guys are in an international setting, you can get in different places. I do recommend you get it. I don't enforce it. It's an option. It will help you not only in this class, in other classes in the future, and even when you try to achieve your PM designation. Now, how do you get it? Again, I'm from the Canadian standpoint. You can go to any online website like Amazon and get it. Now the question is, how am I able to get it, internationally? And there's a lot of ifs. So I'm not sure. Maybe if you have a bookstore, most bookstores they might have it. Okay. There's also online, and there's some places, wink, wink, that you can get it. For free. All right. Um, most in most likely, I believe there's a couple of websites from I believe I have a student from Iran here, but Iran, they actually have a university that has it for free. Is it for free? Not really. The problem is that the PM book comes from the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran doesn't have any relationship, so of course they don't follow copyright laws, so they just post the whole thing on. But it is available, right? So you have access to it. The website is not closed or anything. So if you do want to get it, absolutely. I'm not recommending it or anything. It's still nice to have a book. But nonetheless, if you want options, it is available. Alongside your PM book, I'm going to give you guys articles and scholar reviews. These articles are good because number one, we talk about it. Number two, it is going to be part of your discussion. And number three, something that's very, very important is that when you guys have assignments and you need references, those are really good references amongst your research. Okay, so you will read in the first unit, you will read Smith, Cunningham, Salomon, and Wiglis, as well as Murchison article. And of course, in this unit learning activity, we don't have an activity in this particular class, but our activity is about planning human resource management, making sure that to read each area fully and have an understanding of the theory of the project management of the course. Okay. So this is going to be, the first learning activity. The first learning activity basically is your participation, and you will use this theory and the concept to talk a little bit about what we talk about in our lecture, and of course the studies starting unit 2. And throughout unit number 10, we're gonna have learning activities. And seeing that we're global, I may give it as a in-class assignment, and then allow you to submit it within a week. Okay. All right. On top of the unit, I'm also going to talk a little bit about the effectiveness of leadership as a project manager. This is about being a project manager in the future, building a cooperation and a good network amongst a diverse set of allies in order to achieve delivery for the project itself. So, as a project manager in the future, the goal here is to create an awareness of your network and make sure you have a relationship that needs to be managed to hopefully have a successful project management and being a project manager in the future. Being a project manager is no easy task. It involves relationship building and building influence to make sure that everybody's on the right pace. Project managers need to identify what we call currencies in the world. Currencies like we have exchanges. Okay, and we'll talk about currencies in the future. Currencies basically are an exchange. We have currencies in our money, the fiat money. So every country has its own currency, and we exchange it. We get something back from it, maybe more, maybe less. But it's required as an influence in project management to get the project moving and hopefully get the project completed at the end. So leadership and project management is very important. You will learn about the concepts of project management. Our first concept is MBWA, management by wandering around. And management by wandering around is not being a manager, being a leader, and then socializing, but it has to make sure you become an effective leader in building a connection, making sure your project and your team understands what it's needed, me being a project stakeholder, achieving the desired results, and doing a really good job. So the goal is that you will discover the importance of maintaining a relationship within a project sponsors, how to use them, how to protect your project from by keeping them informed and using higher level of support and guidance in the future. So in this unit, we'll also focus on understanding and building trust for project success. Without trust, you cannot move forward, and trust is very important within a project team. A lot of times, the project stakeholders, the project sponsors, people who are aligned with the project, the credibility of the project is very important. And if you lose trust, project manager's credibility will go down. And unfortunately, the failure of the project is in the horizon. Okay, so you do not want to do that. You want to make sure that the project will be successful and will be ongoing. Last but not least, guys, project management is all about you. Please remember, guys, that you will learn about the different qualities for becoming a effective and progressive project manager, and hopefully a leader in project management. One who can build project teams, one who can maintain a successful project team, and eventually one who can look at a project itself, achieving the results mandated by the project charter, and hopefully within the stakeholders themselves. Okay. You must appreciate the project managers, the need to build relationship before they're needed. Okay. So a lot of times as a project manager, you need to kind of hunt down who is a stakeholder. Anybody. A lot of times you can only imagine that when you build, for example, a tower in a city, there's so many stakeholders involved: your vendors, your suppliers, the government, the municipality, the people. All right. And then you have outside organizations who are also part of it. And if you forget them, they might come back to you in the middle of the project and says, well, we're not happy with something. You need to make a change. And all of a sudden your project is going on full throttle and you cannot move back and make a change. All right. So you have to make sure you build trust and you build a good relationship, and it's sustained a lot through face-to-face contact and getting to know everybody. All right. So my goal here, guys, is that at the end of the day, do not underestimate the value of making relationships, having an effective management cycle, and becoming a productive project management leader at the end of the day. Again, guys, leadership starts with you guys. The activity is based on the PM book itself that we're going to talk about. Again, the PM book is the Project Management Body of Knowledge, the book that I just showed you. The PM book is a guide to project management process on planning human resource management when it comes to guidance. And part of human resource management is understanding the project team members. They need to know what the work packages is, the activities that they're assigned to, what skills they need to have, when they are expected to report to the meeting, and what meetings they will require to attend. So the project manager should consider enterprise environmental factors, things like hidden agendas, availability of contract, training and beyond, and the organizational process. Okay, so responsibilities, common projects, historical information in developing resource management plan, and we'll talk more throughout our semester on how to assign things like matrices, the RACI chart, recognizing and rewarding individuals, and being able to do a good job at the end of the day. All right. Nonetheless, guys, our class is going to be very, very specific. We have 11 weeks together, and we have every single week a new kind of assignment, a new lecture. And the goal is that we're going to cover a lot of what the book is going to have. So the first thing we're going to do is talk a little bit about the introduction of what is a project manager. We're going to talk about strategy. We're going to be talking a little bit about the organization, defining what the project is, estimation. And then what we're going to be doing is, this is kind of the midterm of our class. We're going to go back down here and talk a little bit about teams. Okay. Then from teams in unit number 6, we're going to jump into unit number, I believe, 7, monitoring of progress right here. And then we're going to do another U-turn. We're going to look about what makes a project manager succeed, outsourcing, which is my favorite. And then this is week number 7, 8. 7, 8, 9. This is unit number 10 right here. Okay. And then lastly, down below here, you don't see it now, but you'll see it later. We have something called RRCC. Review, reflect, closure in your careers. And that will be unit 11. Okay. So currently we're unit number 1 right here. And we got all these specific resources, specific classes to take. And then we will jump back into our final class in unit 11. Okay. Any questions up until now, guys?
No.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, what's going to happen before we get the textbook about the assignments? Are you going to give us some slide to read to handle some assignments until you know.
Well, the book is recommended. It's not required. Okay. But all the assignments, all the deliverables will be available on Moodle.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome. So I'm going to show you where to find the information and where to get all the documentation. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So what we're going to be talking about today, guys, is in our learning objective for today, we're going to understand why project management is critical in today's ever-changing business world. We're going to distinguish what a project manager from routine operations. What's the difference? Try to identify the different stages of project life cycles. Talk a little bit about how agile project management is different from traditional, and understand how to manage and involving the balance between the technical side, the yin and yang, we call it, the art of the project, the technical side of the project versus a social culture dimension of a project. Because not only do you need technical skills that you build as a project manager, you need also social skills, okay? Emotional intelligence, we call it, EQ. So in our outline for today, we're going to talk a little bit about what is a project, defining what is a project exactly, current drivers of project management, agile project management, and the social technical approach to project management as well, okay? And how to use it in our daily lives. I gave you a brief overview about myself. If you want to read more about it, it's available on the slides. But nonetheless, my name is Jovic Zapovich. I'm your instructor, 20 years experience in project management, love to teach, love to learn, and I'm here for you guys. Other than that, I want to tell you a little bit about the marking breakdown of the class. The market breakdown is very simple. We have about 10 learning activities to complete. Now, I'm willing to have you guys do more of the assignment side of learning activities, meaning that I'm going to usually finish a class maybe 40 minutes early, 30 minutes early, and give you an opportunity to complete the learning activity. Okay. Usually it's a brief question that you have to complete on your own. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to give you some time to do it. Every learning activity we have is 3%. And most of the time, it can come in the form of your attendance, meaning that if you attend a class, and normally Zoom gives me a number, okay? And that number shows exactly who was in class, how long they were in class, monitors you guys. I take it and then I convert it into our attendance and then submit it to Yorkville, administration, and then I give you guys marks. So if you attend a class, you get marked and it goes towards your learning activity. Sometimes we're going to have classroom discussions where you're going to be discussing a topic that we're going to be talking about. Sometimes participating, raising your hands, that will give you a mark. And other times I will give you a specific question and maybe a week, okay? 5 days plus, or sorry, 4 days plus an extra 3 days to complete it. And then your goal is to submit it by next class, okay? When we start the next class on Wednesday, okay? So learn activity is 3%. It's 1 for your mark, and I would say it's a freebie. Basically, if you attend the class, you do the assignment, okay, and the assignment is a very quick deliverable. You should be getting 30 out of 30. Okay, no question here about it. The other thing we have is unit case study. Okay, so there's 3 case studies that we have in unit number 2, 4, and 8. Okay, so the case studies are basically going to be available for you guys. There's 3 case studies that are available. It's 15% each, and you guys have the opportunity to complete them when needed. Okay, and then there's the group project. Now, the question with the group project, it's worth a quarter of your mark. Okay, and do you guys prefer? Let me know in the comments, or if you guys want to discuss it. Do you prefer me creating your teams, or do you prefer making your own teams? Yeah. Johnson?
I think because we're having a project management class, it's better you make the projects. I mean, to
Okay.
make the team, because in the future we might not have to choose to work with people we want. We might have
Absolutely.
to work
Okay.
with somebody we don't want.
Absolutely. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Johnson. Amana, you had your hand up.
Sorry, yes, I agree with him, and it will be better if you please make group for us because of the future.
Okay, absolutely. And Shuk also mentioned that he wants to make the assignment. Okay, so I'll do that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create your groups by next week. Okay, and the first deliverable you have to do in the group project is going to be a project charter. Basically, a project charter. If you guys have taken a class before, it's very similar in Yorkville U to a learning team agreement. Basically, you write down who's on your team. I'll give you a template on it. You write down who's on your team, basically who's a leader. You're gonna exchange contacts. You're gonna hopefully follow the rules of joining a team, and then you will submit it. Okay, so project charter is going to be due unit number 3, and it's worth 8% of your mark. Report of the project, it's basically a case study report. It's 12%, and then presentation, it's 5%. Okay, so that's what's going to be done. Now, with the group work, one of the things that happens is that you're assigned a team. That's unit number 3, which is in 2 weeks from now. And then you forget about the other deliverables 7 weeks after. Okay, so what I do a lot of times is that right after the midterm, I start to push for your teams. I will give you time in class to formulate your groups. And of course, you can have time in class to work on it. Then, of course, you complete it in unit number 10, right before we finish our semester. And in unit number 11, you start doing the presentation. Okay. Then, of course, you have the midterm paper. Midterm paper is like a test, but it's not a test. Okay, it's a paper that we're going to be talking together on. The midterm paper is very fun, actually, because we have a case we're going to take up in class together. There's questions, and then you complete it. It's very simple. And that's unit number 5 or 6. But then in unit number 11, there's the final paper analysis. Both of them are individual. And what you need to do is in the midterm paper, everything is set up for you. But in the final paper, you pick a topic from our class and you work on that topic to finalize your paper. Okay. Both of them were 50% of your mark. So when you look at the grade deliverables here, 30% of your mark goes into learning activities, which is basically daily tasks from unit number 1 to 10, including your attendance, your classroom discussion, participation, and assignment deliverables. 50% of your mark, now we're up to 45%, is your case study. So a lot of times the case study is to prepare you guys for the group project. And then group project is 25%. All right. So right now, when you look at the numbers, you look at about 60-ish, no, are we 60? No, 70. 70. Yeah, 7% of your mark is basically your group project, your case studies, and your learning outcomes. And then the final mark, 30% of your mark, will be your midterm paper and the final paper analysis. Okay, so those are the weightage, and this can give you a potential of 100%. Okay, any questions about the breakdown of the marking? Is it clear? Perfect. Okay, I want to give you some examples of what I see as examples of some projects that you may be dealing with. Okay, so for example, when you might be working in the future, you might be dealing with projects. Some people have a title as a project manager. Some people have another position, but they use project management in their daily lives. Okay, so for example, if you work in the IT business information, installing new data is a project. Installing new security systems is a project management. Okay, so a lot of times you may hear an email from Yorkville U saying, "Hey, listen, we're going to update our system, shut it down, and we're not doing it just for the fun of it. We had a project going on. So basically, we're getting a new server, and because we're getting a new server, we are doing a project on it." Sometimes marketing, executing a new sales program, that's also a project. developing a quality control program for the company and the facilities. That also could be a program. Implementing a new store layout, so renovating the store. That could be known as a project. For example, creating a promotion plan for a women's basketball project, sports communication, that can also be a project. System engineers developing and mining softwares and, related papers, studies of, anything of scholarly work, that can also be known as a project. Even a yearly thing, for example, accountants, they do an audit every single year on their clients. That can also be a project, okay? So we have a lot of projects going on, designing, educational programs for health. That can be a project. Creating a web-based user manual for new electronic products. That can be a project. And we have a lot of projects that we can do. So what we do a lot of times in our class is that we refer back to the PM book. And as I mentioned, it's recommended to get the PM book, but it's not required. Okay. So one of our first discussion that we have is all these are projects that some college grads can get. But in the end of the day, when we look at project, we have to make sure we have leadership skills. So one of the leadership skills that we want to make here is that leadership skills involves, according to the PM book, the ability to guide, motivate, and direct the team. These skills may include demonstrating essential capabilities such as negotiation skills, resiliency, good communication skills, good problem solving skills, critical thinking, good interpersonal skills, and making sure that as a project manager, your projects are becoming increasingly more complicated as we become more competitive with more and more businesses executing strategies through projects. So a lot of people use projects. Projects are almost every single day. Some companies are only projects. Okay, they only figure out projects because if they don't have a project, they don't have business. All right. So project management is more than just working with numbers, according to the PM book. It's doing numbers, doing templates, looking at charts and graphs, doing computing systems, and having a common denominator in all project that the people will do. As we say, people can be counted, but they are not numbers. Okay. And when you create a team, a lot of times what happens is that the team can also be challenging because people may not do the work as needed. People may, fail at some of the items, and they don't have the skills needed to complete a project. So your goal is that you want to make sure you have the right project together, and that you want to make sure that you have the right team set as well. And that's what leadership skills is all about, according to the PM book. So nonetheless, in our learning activity for today, the learning activity is your participation and your attendance. Nothing to deliver for this part of our class. What we're going to be talking about, especially in learning activity, is to identify some basic attributes of what makes a successful project manager. We're going to talk and discuss a little bit about the importance of building trust within our stakeholders and prioritizing some of the qualities of an effective project management leadership. All right. So this unit focuses on the processes by which a project manager will lead, direct, guide, and influence behaviors by their own project team in order to achieve their own project objectives. Okay. So what you're required to do, and we'll talk a little bit about it later on, is you are required to look over a video by TED Talk. And this video is called How to Build and Rebuild Trust. Okay. And it's a really good video to look at because it was a TED Talk that was done by Dr. Francis Freire, and it talks about how to build and rebuild trust when there is no trust whatsoever. Okay, Francis Freire is a Harvard Business School professor. She talks about the relevance of building a relationship and how strong relationships are needed in order to motivate team members to become more committed, more engaged, more aligned in achieving the project objectives. Okay. So when you are going to be looking at the video, okay, what I want you guys to do is answer some of the questions on your own, do a quick self-evaluation, a reflection. and identify to me at work at your previous teams and institutions where you develop a lack of trust for a leader. Why did that happen? Why was a leader who led a project, why did you lose trust in that person? Was this because, number one, they lacked authenticity, meaning that they're not genuine, they're not real? They lacked rigor logic, meaning that they said that they have the experience, but they actually did not? Or they lacked empathy. They simply did not care about you. Okay. So what I want you guys to do with the video is that the presenter will suggest that the project leader can improve the logic of their discussion. And I want you to start discussing what kind of words and information are important, get to the main topic and the point of discussion, ask the team members for their input and collaboration, and be able to experience what Francis experienced at Uber's head office. Okay. And we'll come back and revisit this topic later on. And hopefully what we're going to be doing is eventually we're going to be talking a little bit about how the project will be aligning and what kind of metaphors can we use to make sure that this will be happening as well. Okay. So one of the things that I'm going to do before we go on the next half of our class, normally, again, we can take a break, but I want to do one last thing before we do so. I just want to put together when the delivery is going to be for your upcoming assignment number 1, the case study, Menlo Innovations. I want to just confirm the date here. 1 second, guys. The date is January 22nd. Yes, it is January 22nd. Would that be the 16th? Yes. Okay, 16. Perfect. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put it all together. 1 second. January 22nd. Perfect. And I'm just gonna confirm that it's down below here. More January 22nd. Perfect. Anything else here? January. Whoop. One last January 22nd. I have to remind you guys here. And we are good. All right. Okay. So coming back to where we left off, I just want to come back to our discussion and another referendum. Here's another quick part that I have. So normally within our class, I usually give 1 break, but because this was the first class, I'm offering 2 breaks. Do you guys want to take a break or do you want me to go ahead?
Let's go ahead, please.
Ahead. Okay. Absolutely. Let's go ahead. But before we go ahead, guys, I just want to take a brief overview. Case number 1 is officially released. Case number 1 is called Menlo Innovations, a new approach to workplace and project management. And basically what it is all about is it's about a company that does innovations, okay, and how they use project management. Normally, it is a case study, and the thing with along with the PM book, which is recommended, the case study, it's basically a website that you download the case, and what they do within a case, of course, is that you download it. There's the questions, you answer it, and then submit it to me. Okay. And the good part about case number 1 is that even myself, I don't have access to the case. Access to the case is only online. So what you need to do, I'll just show you a brief overview here, is if you go into, I'm just going to show you my my screen here. Let me just go back to Zoom. In my screen right here, this is the first case, okay? The first case, of course, is called mental innovation. Where do you find it? You go to unit number 2, right here. So this is unit number 1 right here. Unit number 2 is down below. And in a case study, okay, what you do normally is that you have 3 case studies. And the first one is this one. It's written by Fahim and Prakasha, and it's called Mental Innovations, a new approach to workplace and project management. You click on the website, the Case Center website, and what it will show you is a page, okay? And inside the page, what you do is, number one, you log in, you purchase it, and you're good to go. Now, how much does it cost? I believe it costs about $7 or $10 US. It's not a lot, but again, you do have to pay for it, okay? But the good part here is that I believe I can shower you guys with a present because if I'll just show you where I can show you the item. I believe a student in my other class had the access to the case and shared it with the team. So what I'm going to try to do is share with you guys. Okay. So if you look at the chat, let me see if I can do it here. Everyone in meeting. Awesome. Okay. If you look at the chat, guys, where we had the meeting chat, I'm going to give you guys something. We call it a little gift. Okay. And the gift here is case study number 1. I will post it online as well. So if you look, I've sent a message. It's case study number 1. So instead of you buying it, you have the case study already. Okay. So please look on it, and I will also upload it to our Moodle. Okay. But guys, I only have access to one case study. I don't have access to case study number 2 and 3. You are responsible for your case studies and submitting it, okay? So please remember, guys, that the case study is available online. You just have to click on the website and you're good to go, okay? Any question about the case study?
Sorry, to confirm, this is due on the 22nd, you said, right?
It's due 22nd, and you have a 3-day grace. Okay, so 3-day grace means that you have the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Okay, so you can submit it for full marks on the 22nd, which is basically 11 days from now. Okay, or you can submit it an extra, if you need an extra 3 days, you can submit it by then. Any other questions? Everybody's clear on it? Okay. So again, guys, I just want to reiterate here. This is our class. This is our main website for our class. And what you need to do, guys, is that if you want information, most of the information from our class is under important announcements right here. So all you have to do is click on it. And for example, in the morning at 5 in the morning, I released you number 1, project management leadership. So if you click on it, you will see, our class, okay? And basically what you've seen is, introduction to our class. And lo and behold, I was up so early, I forgot to write the exact time. So it was 5 a.m., not p.m., okay? But basically, guys, all the information that you need, even, case study number 1 is under important announcements, okay? So I'm going to show you where important announcements is again. Important announcement is right here. And even I can post here first case study. Enjoy. And I'm going to upload to you guys the first case study, okay? So I'm going to put the case study right here. And you will be good to go. Perfect. Okay. So again, guys, if you guys look, first case, this is not my day today. I'm making typos left, right, and center, but this is the first case study, okay? And you guys have access to it as well, okay? My gift to you guys. All right. On top of this, guys, also please remember, I'm also releasing under activities. Okay. I'm releasing journals. So some of the journals I've given you guys are available here. So if you look at the journals, I've given you Cunningham, Solomon, and Weiglis, Murgerson, and Smith. So these are some topics that we will be talking about. When you have a chance, look over them, okay? Check them out, and hopefully they will help you understand the subject a little bit more. And on top of that, I've recommended the course text, so the Guide to Project Management Body of Knowledge, part number 1, section 3.44, and part number 1, section 3.45, okay? For you guys to be able to hopefully do well in understanding the subject, okay? Other than that, we mentioned that you guys want to go forward with our class by all means. Normally it would be a break right now, but I've left the article, so there's a couple of articles for you guys and a case study. So if you go on our main website, you should be ready for it. Other than that, what I also want to mention here, guys, is on top of that, I want to define a little bit about what is a project. So according to PMI is the Project Management Institute. The PMI is who gives out the PMPs, the designation. So the goal of Yorkville, the goal of being a student at Yorkville University is ending up with a project management designation. Now we train you guys. We focus primarily on PMPs, and hopefully a lot of students do well. But it is your own responsibility to do your PMI designation. Okay, it's almost like medical school. If you want to go to medical school, awesome. I just don't want you to drop out of my class. But if you ever decide to go medical school, school is basically they start you and they train you. They put you and they prove that you can be a doctor. But at the end of the day, you have to do medical exams, and that's with the government. I'm hoping. And if you do pass it, you become a doctor. But if you don't pass it, you still are a doctor according to the school, but you cannot practice medicine. All right. Same thing in our school. We teach you how to become a project manager, but at the end of the day, you have to go to the authority, the govern of project management, and take a course with them, okay, or take a test with them to prove that you're a project manager. Okay, so project management is run by PMI Institute, and project is basically defined as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create something unique, either a product, a service, or result that's never been done before. All right. So, for example, let's take our class. Our class is a good example of a project. Why? Well, I've been teaching this class right now for about 13 semesters. Okay, this is my 13th semester teaching this class. This class, I've been doing it over and over again. Okay, but the thing is, when you look at this class, there's something unique. Number one, we take this class on Wednesdays at 6 to 9 in the morning. Okay, that's number one. Number two, this class is very unique because I have new students, and this class is also unique because we never, as a team, we never did before. Okay. So when you look at a project, there's a lot of unique projects all over the world. Okay. For example, when you look at the World Cup has been there since the 1930s. All right. Every 4 years we have the World Cup, but every World Cup is unique. There's a new place, a new location, new team sometimes, new tournaments, new games. Okay. It's unique. Okay. So the major characteristic of what makes a project unique, okay, is that number one, a project has to have established objectives. Okay. So for example, when we do a new software, a new program, the objective is we have something in place. We have a vision. And when you have a vision, it's a unique item that never been done before. Another important part of a project is that there's a beginning and end. So for example, if we have no end in sight, okay, that can be a problem. That means that we do not have a certain date. So you can actually imagine having a World Cup. The World Cup is about a month or two. And if we do not have an end date, that means, unfortunately, that we simply cannot have a project, okay? A project has to have an end date. It's a life. You're born into it, and then you die, okay? The same thing in a project, okay? You have to have a start date and an end date. If there's no end date, it becomes a ongoing item, okay? So it's almost like an operation, and we're not an operation. We are a project, okay? Another thing of a project that's very unique is that it involves several departments and professionals. It's not just one person. It's some people in the company coming together and doing something unique, okay? It also involves doing something that's never been done before, okay? So again, have I taken this class? taught this class before? Yes. Have I taught it with, for example, with Genera, Jieling, Johnson, and Manny, and all our teammates? No. All right. Have I taught it in 6 a.m? No. Have I taught it in global business course? No. Okay. So there's a lot of things that I've done that I can help this project, which is 11 weeks. Okay. But at the end of the day, the students, where we are, the fact that I'm not repeating what I've done in semester 10 or semester 5, everything's unique here. Okay. That is the definition of a project. Okay. So it has a specific time. Okay. Specific time means that our class starts in week number 1 and will end in week 11. All right. There's no week 12. There's no week 200. There's only 11 weeks in this project. Okay. And at the end of the day, there's going to be specific time that we're doing together. We're going to be together for 33 hours. Cost, whatever your tuition is. Okay. And performance. Okay. How do I measure performance? Your grades. Okay. So your performance is your challenge. You go in, you get marked, and that will be what the result is. All right. So does everybody get 80%? Not really. Does everybody get 50%? Not really. Okay. Everybody has different numbers here. All right. Some people do not show up to the class and end up with nothing. Some people show up to every class and get 90. Okay. It's all variables. Okay. So how do we define a project versus an operation? Well, when we define a program or a project, an operation, a lot of times a program is defined as a group of related projects designed to accomplish a common goal over an extended period of time. So a program, for example, is you pursuing your BBA. Okay. Most of you guys are getting your Bachelor of Business Administration. And what you're doing right now is you're going in and you're getting a program. Okay. The program has already been defined. Okay. So when you look at program management, it's a process of managing a group of ongoing, interdependent, relational, related projects in a coordinated way to achieve a strategic objective. Okay. So basically, BBA has been always done before. BBA, you know exactly what the course is, but when you go into a class, that's the program. And then your projects in the class, your activities are completely different. Okay. So to give you a good example of how to define project versus a program, a project is completion of a required course in a project management. Okay. So if you complete this class, BUSI3613, that's a project because that's 11 weeks. But your program is when you complete all your courses and then you apply for a business major. Okay. Because everybody's done the same program. Okay. Everybody is applying for BBA. But when you have all the right credits, you will be completing it. Okay. But now the question is, in a program, you will take project. Okay. So some people can complete this program in a year or 2. Some people will be completing it in 3 years. Some people's marks will be different. That's what makes a project unique. But at the end of the day, when we have graduation and when you get your diploma, that, guys, is the same exact thing. It's a program, okay? And the BBA program has been there for years. Every single year, we have new graduates. We have new alumni, okay? So this creates a unique project altogether. Now, how do we define what is exactly a project versus a program? When we look at a routine, repetitive work, so for example, if I was to open a store, okay, the goal of my store is operations, meaning I want my store to be there forever. However, in my store, it's a fashion store. So in my store, there's going to be new seasons, okay? So we're currently in the winter season, and in another month or 2, we're going to spring. So there's going to be a program where we open a store from 9 o'clock to 9 in the morning to 9 at night. That is the operation, and we want to make money. But we also have a project, And the project is we're going to launch the spring 2023 collection very soon. That is a project. So how do we tell the difference here? All right. So for example, coming back to our class, a routine repetitive work is that you take class notes. Class notes can be different. The quality can be different, but every time you're in class, my class, another teacher class, you take notes. It's repetitive. That's your position as a student. However, when you take notes and you write a paper, that's a project. Why? Well, you never done this project before. You take your notes all the time, but you never written that document. So the first case study that you're going to be writing for me is going to be a project. All right. Never seen it before. Hopefully, you're going to be submitted to myself. Never submitted to me. You're going to get marked, and based on that mark, it's going to be a project. Okay. It's a one-time thing. You will start it today, hopefully, and eventually you will complete it by January 22nd. That is the goal. Okay. Another thing in the business world, if you are working in a position like accounting, entering, on a general ledger, an account ledger, that's a daily operation. That's what you're going to be doing all the time. But when you have a sales meeting with your accountants, that is going to be something of a project. Okay. When you are working in supply chain, responding to requests to make an item, that's an operation because that's what you have to do. But when you develop a supply chain management system, one time every 10 years, that is going to be a project. Okay. If you like music and you like to practice music on your piano, it's repetitive. You practice, 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 and play the same songs. But when you write a new song, that's a project. Okay. Because you're writing a song to make an album and you're doing something that nobody's been done before. All right. When you do manufacturing and you manufacture, for example, an Apple iPhone, that's repetitive. All right. The same company that created Apple iPhone 1 is creating Apple iPhone 14. Okay. But when you're updating Apple iPhone 14 to 15 and designing a new iPod, okay, or iPhone, then that is a project because it's never been done before. Okay. Nobody has seen your Apple iPhone 15. Even in retail, when you're attaching tags on manufactured products, that's repetitive because you always have to do it. But when you are working in a project for GE and Walmart, that has never been done before, and that is a project. Okay. So in a project, we have a life cycle, and what we have in the life cycle is basically in the first life cycle, we're gonna number one define what the project is. So we look at number one. In the beginning of a project, we're going to look at the goals of a project, specifications, what we need to do in a project, the task on how to get to the project, and the responsibilities. Basically, what we're doing right now in definition is we're writing down how to get to the project. Okay. Then when we get to the project, we start planning the project. So we put in the schedules, the budgets that we need to put in. We need to put in the resources, the risks attached to it, staffing, okay, and all the other miscellaneous items. And then in the execution, we get the status reports. Okay, we create the status reports, we create any changes, any quality, any forecasting that needs to be done, and we start to execute the project on how we defined it, we planned it, and we start going about it. Okay, and then when we are starting a project, there has to be an end. And when we go to the end, we try to close a project. So that means that we finish a project and somebody has to use what we made. So we have to train the customer or the client. We have to transfer all the documents to maybe our stakeholders, our clients, or even our management. We release the resources because we have tools and machinery that we use. We have to close it. That's our responsibility. Evaluate how well the project went because we have to evaluate our teammates, we have to evaluate our process, and look back at the process and any lessons being learned. Okay, so it's a very challenging process here because you have so many life cycles that we have to start, continue. It's going at the same time sometimes, and it can become very complicated. Okay. So it's especially complicated because it in the middle of the project right here, a lot of things are interwoven. Okay, you define and plan the project at the same time sometimes, you execute the project at the same time, and it becomes very, very complicated. And the goal of a project manager and the challenge of the project manager is to do it very, very well. So a lot of times when you look at the challenges of project management, a project manager has to manage a temporary project, a non-repetitive project activity, and frequently act as independently from the formal company itself. Because you work with a company, but then you'll give me a task to work as a project. And the thing is that when you go out there in the workforce, you might have a project that you do every year, only one project, or you may work in a company that all they do is projects. They live and breathe a project, okay? But irregardless, projects has never been done before, okay? So for example, we talk about sports, okay? When we talk about the World Cup, has France and England played each other before? Yes. But they did not play specifically in Qatar. They did not play specifically at that date and within the players and within a stadium. So the 90 minutes when we start the game and end it, that's a project. Okay. Within that whole realm, you have operations to, practice, condition the players. But then when you go into the pitch, that is a project. So the goal of a project manager, whether it's a coach, whether it's a general manager or the final project manager, is to control and marshal resources of the project. How many players do we need? How do we get the food? How do we get the jerseys? How do we travel to that location? Okay. How do we, market the game? Okay. There has to be a direct link to the customer because at the end of the day, if you do a project and there's no reason to do a project, who's going to see the project at the end of the day? You need a customer. Okay. So you have to work with a diverse group of individuals and everybody's different. Okay. You're going to be working in a company where you're going to be working with a marketing individual who has creativity, engineer, full of numbers, and of course, other different players that have different characteristics. Okay. The goal of a project manager is to provide a vision, a direction, coordination, integration to the project and the project team and make them work together. All right. So you have to make sure that the different departments work together and work in harmony. And you must include and induce the right people at the right time to address the right issues and make the right decisions. Okay. I call it the 1, 2, 3, 4 R's. Okay. Right people, right time, right issues, right decisions. Those are very, very important because if you do not execute them very well, your project may not do very successful or might not be as successful as you would imagine. So what are current drivers of project management? Some factors of project management is that we're leading the increased use of project management. Today's ever-changing market means that we're compressing the product lifecycle even faster. We're making products even better, but much more faster. And that becomes very, very competitive. There's more knowledge out there because we have the internet. We care about the environment. We call it a triple bottom line, that we care about the people, the profit, and the planet. And we care a lot about, social responsibilities. We want to increase customer focus. We want to care a lot about, what the customer wants, not what we want as a company. And one of the biggest tasks and challenges for project management is that small projects represent actually the biggest problems. Okay. Because if you do a project for a week, it might take a lot of time like a big project. Okay. So these are the most challenging things that we can see in the 2020s for project management. We have a question. Can you repeat the 4 R's again? Sure. So 4 R's is the right people at the right time it's actually, the right issue. Okay. And the right decision. So basically you put them all together and that's how you formulate how to control a project properly. Okay, so right people, right time, right issue, right decisions, the 4 R's. All right. All right. So moving forward, we talked about the current drivers of project management. Also, there's a push for what we call agile project management. And I want to tell you what the difference between agile versus traditional project management is. Agile project management is a terminology, a methodology emerged out of software development. Um, let's talk about software development projects as a whole. Basically, when you look at software, they used traditional project management process a long time ago, and they were very frustrated. Okay, why? Well, when you look at software or applications in computers is that it takes time because of coding, programming, quality control to develop a project. Okay, so for example, if you were working at Microsoft developing Microsoft Windows, okay, Microsoft Windows, in my opinion, is an agile project. Why? Because Microsoft Windows is just updating its versions. For the past 35 years, we always had Microsoft Windows, okay? But the problem is if you use traditional project, you deliver the project and you ended it. But the problem is that technology changes. So what happens here is that software developers, what they had is that they finish a project, they deliver to the customer, and then the customer says, thank you for the project. You started it 2 years ago. We gave you a budget. We gave you a time. You complete everything on time, but we have a problem. That software you gave me is outdated, okay? And this became very frustrating for computer engineers, technology, and the progress of where we are today. What occurred here is that you completed your task, but the future and outside elements have taken a hold, okay? So for example, when we started Microsoft Windows, if you look every time it opens up, it shows you copyright. Microsoft Windows started in 1981, okay? So the project to get Microsoft Windows was in 1981, and the first real Microsoft Windows was released in 1991, okay? But ever so often, we have new Microsoft Windows. So we have Microsoft 1, Microsoft 2, 3, 3.1, 3.5. Then we went to Windows 95, and Windows 95 was Agile project because they started to put in internet and graphics. And afterwards, they released Windows 98, then Windows 2000, Windows X and T, Windows networking, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, 8, 9, 10, and today we're on Windows 11. This whole thing is all about technology changes and innovations, okay? Can somebody in 1981 predicted that we will be using, for example, we will be using machinery like, smartphones in the future? No. In fact, they did not even know that we have advanced graphics. They were hearing about it, but they did not know how to implement it. All right. So what occurred in software is that they came up with Agile Project, and now Agile Project is being used not only in softwares to manage projects, but with other projects when there's a high level of uncertainty. Okay. So we know the future, but we cannot predict the future. So what occurs a lot of times is that people are implementing Agile projects, and Agile projects are an incremental, iterative processes that sometimes refer to a rolling wave approach to complete a project. If it focuses on collaborating between the project and the customer representatives, stakeholders, breaking the project into smaller functional pieces and adapting to change requirements, right? So for example, when we're going and creating Agile project for Microsoft Windows, if changes happen outside, customer taste, economic problems, technological advancements, or whatever the customer would want, we will adapt to it. Okay. So a lot of times it's often used upfront in defining the phases to establish specifications on what you want the end result to be. And then traditional methodologies are used to plan, execute, and close a project. So you're telling exactly what the future will look like, but then you're using traditional methodologies on implementing the project. Okay. And agile projects definitely works best in small teams of 4 to 8 people. So the way that a agile project is looking like is a agile project. Okay. As you can see, it's a rolling wave project where you start the project and then you have different phases to get to the close. Okay. And sometimes there is no close. Have we closed, for example, Apple iPhones? No, we're still using the Apple iPhones. We went from 1 to Apple 1 to Apple 15. All right. There's no new Apple iPhones out there. Okay. Because the same concepts had just been adapted ongoing. All right. We advanced the processor. We advanced the applications. We advanced the motherboard, but it's the same exact phone. Calls, plays, does work, right? So the goal of each iteration is to make tangible progress to the next iteration, such as defining key requirements to solve technical problems, create desired results, features, and demonstrate to the customer what we have done, okay? So a lot of times, it might mean that you don't have a solution out there, but one iteration will lead to another. So for example, cure for cancer, that can be done, for example, as a iterative agile project, because we take research and we build the research to get to something else in the future, okay? So at the end of each iteration progress, we review it, we adjust it, and if we need changes, they're being made, modifications are going to be made, and a different iterative cycle will begin. Each new iterative cycle will assume the work of the previous cycle until the project is satisfied, completed, handed to the customer, and the customer says, yes, this is what I want to do. Okay. So a lot of times when we look at project management in today's modern day and age, project management is what we call the yin and the yang. Okay. The technical side of project is called the science. The science is consisting of what we're learning in class, the formal discipline, the logical part of the process on knowing the project, okay? Because we have the PM book. The PM book teaches us the science behind how to learn the language of project, and includes planning, scheduling, and controlling a project. Meanwhile, the social culture dimensions is the art of the project. The art of the project involves the contradictory side on implementing a project. It caters around creating a temporary social system within a larger organization, an environment that combines the talents of the professionals and working to complete the project as need be, okay? So a lot of times when we look at the science of the project, I call it the yin and the yang, okay? So for individuals who are from the Orient, from the East Asia, you're probably familiar with what a yin and yang is, okay? Yin yang. So one side to create a project management successful is you need social cultural dimensions. You need to be a leader. You need to prove leadership skills, and that's what we're taking this class for. You're taking this class to learn leadership skills, to learn about problem solving, to learn about teamwork and how to deal with team chemistry, to learn how to negotiate, how to deal with the political hot potato, the customer expectations, understanding customer requirements. This is the social culture side, and this is what we're mostly going to be talking about. And then the other side, to make a good project manager, is you need to be technical. We're going to have technical things. We're going to learn about the scope. What is the scope of a project? WBS, work breakdown structure. How to schedule a project properly. How to allocate resources so that we don't miss out on anything. How to create a budget. How to update reports and documentation. You put them together, and that is how you create a project. So within our semester, we're going to be looking at some of these chapters together. Chapter number 2 next week, we'll focus on how a company go about evaluating and selecting projects. Chapter number 3, we'll discuss the matrix management of the organization, how to properly understand the organizational cycle of significant roles that a culture can have on organizing and implementing the project. Chapter number 4 deals with defining the scope of the project. So we are going to be talking about the WBS, work breakdown structure. While chapter number 5 explores the challenges of formulating cost and time estimates. And then in chapter number 6, we'll talk about utilizing information on the work breakdown structure, planning and formulating sequence and time activities. And meanwhile, we also have in chapter number 7, how to examine organizations and managers identifying risks associated with the project. We'll also explore resources of limitations that can impact the project, talk about strategies on reducing time either on prior or before project in response to problems and demand, and looking at roles of the project manager as a leader and stressing the importance of managing project stakeholders within the organization. Chapter 11 is focusing on the core side of project teams, combining the latest information on team dynamics with leadership skills and techniques on developing high performance teams. And of course, project number 12, discussing how to outsource project, which is my favorite, how to outsource the project, look at contractors, customers, and suppliers, and working with outside individuals if you cannot find those resources in your company. Chapter 13 talks primarily on the information and using the information to monitor progress on a key concept on value. Chapter 14 covers closing out a project and the importance of assessment and any lesson being learned so that you can close a project perfectly, basically landing a plane nicely. Chapter 15 talks about agile project management and the flexible approaches to managing the project with a high degree of uncertainty. And chapter number 16 focuses on cross-company culture, and that's where we'll end our semester on review, reflect, closure, and your careers. All right. At the end of every class, I like to have a key terminology. So a lot of students make notes, and some of the notes that I would recommend that you review, key terms, is we talked today about agile project management or agile PM. And we saw that today, because of changes in technology, advancements, people are making micro projects, smaller projects, all right, to make small steps in a bigger project altogether. All right. People have a lot of projects and create programs. And we define what a program is. A program is an operation. So for example, if you have a company, the goal of a company is a program. Your goal is you want a company to be there forever, longevity. In Canada, guys, we have actually a company called the Hudson Bay Company. It's been around for over about 400 years. Okay, it's established. In fact, if you go downtown Toronto, they have a plaque saying this is Hudson Bay head office. Established, guys, 1640. All right, so we're talking about a company that's been around for about 480 years, right? But the company has projects. When they open a new store, that's a project. When they hire people, that's a project. When they create new lines, that's a project. Okay, so you can actually remember that there's a company, then there's a project, and we'll talk a lot about those concepts all together because they're interlinked here. We talked about what is a project. We talked about the project life cycle and project management professionals, PMP, where I want you guys to be able to get your PMP designation. Okay. Before we end our class for today, I also want to talk about the other side of the PM book, dealing with people. We talked first about leadership skills, 3.445, and in 3.441, we talked about dealing with people. A large part of your daily project management lies is to deal with, as a project manager, the role involving about dealing with people. The project manager should study people's behavior and motivations. The project manager should strive to be a good leader because leadership is very critical to the success of a project in a company. A project manager applies leadership skills within their qualities when working with a project stakeholder and including the project team, the steering committee, the teammate itself, and even the project sponsor. So you have to deal with a lot of people. And if you have good skills, we talked about it, social cultural skills, you can become a really good a really good project manager. All right. But a good project manager has to have two sides here, the yin and the yang. They need to have good social skills, be friendly, be a leader, not be a boss and, be mean to people, but also be technical. Know exactly, there's so many different projects, right? So if you're going to be in marketing, in project management, you need to know the concept of marketing. If you're going to be making bridges and infrastructure, you need to know about construction. If you're going to be in science, you need to know about that as well. I'm not saying you're going to be a scientist. That's not what I'm going for, but you need to know exactly how to deal with those people in science and engineering and government and military and whatever you want to go into in your careers. Okay, guys? All right, so before we go, guys, I have one last thing, as I mentioned to you guys. Case number 1 is officially released, okay? It's called Menlo Innovations, a new approach to workplace and project management. It's written by Dr. Prakashya and Dr. Fahim. You can find it under the Case Center. And like I mentioned to you guys, I'm a very friendly guy. I like to give you guys rewards. So what I've done is I've given you guys the first case study available on important announcements, and even in our chat. Please look over it and please complete it when needed. But please remember, guys, I do not have case number 2 or number 3 or the group project case. That's your responsibility. How you get it, I don't care, okay? But you need to download it. Sometimes you can communicate with your future teammates and be able to do so, okay? But you need to have case studies available. I'm not asking you to buy the book. I'm asking you to buy specific cases. Most cases cost between $7 and $10 US, okay? So I'm not sure about the conversion rates, but it's very specific to what you are required to do. Just to understand what the objectives of the case study is, guys, under the case study, after reading the case study, you will be able to understand a little bit more and illustrate to me how effective leadership can be done from the top management. How can they foster innovation in a company, in project? Compare and contrast the company's approach to the project management with the practices of traditional software project. So we talked about Agile project. How can you implement Agile project? Demonstrate the significance of an effective project planning in the success of a company. Argue how to implement innovation within a company environment and the benefits of the company and the team members. Demonstrate to me how an adaptive, flexible team yields optimal gains with a firm. Explain the differences between leadership and management in a project, and explain cooperative relationship in a project and team building. All right. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is that when you read your case study, refer to the selected case study that I've given you. All right. And there will be case questions. All right. Submission should be about 3 pages of a case. Remember, guys, it's only 5% of your final mark. Don't go the mile here. Do 3 pages, double space. Doesn't mean title page and references. Please follow APA format. If you need help on APA format, I can help you here. There is a department that you can set up a meeting with that they can give you some instructions on APA formatting. And the way I'm going to evaluate this case study and the other 2 case studies is as follows. There's 2 different sections I'm going to mark you on. Application and case methodology is worth 60%. I'm going to give you 10 points each on identifying and clearly stating the problem of the case, deciding what to be made, the context of the case, 10 points, summarizing facts of the case and the background, 10 points, demonstrating to me analysis of supported evidence of the case study, and guiding the case questions, 10 points. Identifying any viable set of alternatives and solving the stated problems and effectively evaluating alternatives, 10 points. Give me recommendations and solutions, 10 points. And any clear actions and plans, another 10 points. Okay, altogether 60%. And format and writing, that's how you organize your case study. 20 points will be the report, title page, case study analysis methodologies, heading, references, 20 points. Freebie, spelling grammar, 10 points. And APA formatting, title, heading, references, another 10 points. So altogether, guys, I'm going to be using this, what we call rubric, for your class. Okay, this is how I'm going to mark your case study, how I'm going to mark your midterm reports, how I'm going to mark your group project within the rubric. And a lot of times I cannot upload the rubric on Moodle, but I have rubrics for every student. So if you need more evaluations later on, message me and I will give it back to you. Okay. So guys, just to reiterate here, the case is due January the 22nd, and you have a leeway until January 25th to submit it. Learning assessment is going to be done right after unit number 2. So learning assignment for today is your participation. If you were in class, you get marked. You start at 100%. Awesome. Any questions? Wait, we had a question. I think it was Mana. You had a question, Mana?
No, I had something. During your slide presentation, you had the questions for the TED Talk. Is that the learning assignment that's due after Unit 2, so next Wednesday?
No, it is the TED Talk. We're going to take it in class, but it's questions for you, like reflection questions. Nothing to submit for today. It's sort of like you do you watch a TED Talk video, and then you reflect on the questions. Like for example, what made you feel that you do not have an authentic leader? So you go back and you review it, but we'll talk about it later on. There's nothing to submit in today's class.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Johnson, you had a question?
Yes, Professor. Like last month, my friend, he took this class, so he told me about PMP and Scrum Master.
Yeah.
So I did the Scrum fundamentals and I passed. So are there any takeaway knowledge which can be useful for this class?
Scrum, not particularly, but there are elements of leadership in Scrum and you can utilize them, but not specifically because this class builds you to achieve PMP designation in Scrum later on. But if you achieved it, awesome. It will help you. It will be an asset for you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what I have for you guys is it's gonna be I've released for you guys the first case study. Other than that, before we go, I just want to show you once again where to find it. Okay. So what you need to do, guys, is if you go into our class, I'll start from the beginning. This is our main page. Okay. So if you see the main page, guys, under important announcements, I just want to show you once again. This is where I'm going to post every document available for our class. So the first document I showed you, unit number 1, project management and leadership. It's our conversation for today. All right. So if you want to click and review the class, key terms, make your notes, it's available under here. First case study is right here. So if you want to look at the case study, get a head start on the reading, it's available. Other than that, beyond the case study, every single week you'll see a new unit opening. So in a first unit, you have learning activities. Sometimes if I ask you to submit something, it will be available right here. Unit number 1 activities, if you click on it, it shows you exactly what we're going to be talking about, the notes, the lectures, any scholarly reports, okay? Other than that, there's also sometimes assignments down below. So the assignments are where you submit your item, okay? And we will instruct you on how to submit, okay? Other than that, guys, that concludes our first class. Before we go, I just have one last thing to show you. Other than that, I just want to thank everybody for attending the class. I know that many of you guys are in different time zones, 5 hours away from me. Right now it's 2 o'clock in Nigeria, or it's maybe 3 o'clock in Nigeria. Some people are 8 o'clock in the Philippines at night, or maybe 10 o'clock at night in the Philippines. Some students are in Iran. Iran is, I think, 8 hours away. I believe I have students also in China. That's 12 hours away. So we're a very interesting and intriguing class. I'm looking forward to working with you this semester. It's going to be a fun-filled class. I hope you enjoyed my class. This class is intriguing. It's riveting, but also requires students to deliver and show your materials. I wish you good luck, not only in this class, but also in the semester. I hope you have a good time. Looking forward to work with you guys. And before we go, just one question to you guys. Seeing that you guys are in this class, how did you enjoy the first lecture? What do you guys want me to continue with? What do you guys want me to stop with? What do you guys want me to introduce you guys with? Any feedback? And I like your feedback, guys. What did you enjoy from this class? Yeah. Murray?
I was gonna say, I love your energy for 6
Oh.
in the morning Toronto time.
Woo! 6 in the morning. I'm an early bird, but I'm probably gonna crash in a couple of minutes. But energy, I'll give you more energy as
Yeah.
well.
And
More
so
voltage.
just to clarify, are you assigning our groups for next class?
Yeah.
We can start our
I'm
group
actually gonna
project
sign
for
it. I'm gonna
next
sign it this week.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna send you guys a message. I'm also gonna post your groups randomly on important announcements. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is it's a random group. Okay. I'm not gonna like handpick it. So what you need to do is you need to go back to important announcements within this week, end of the week, hopefully, and you'll see which team you're in. Okay. Now the only thing I have from you guys is I only have your student IDs, your name, and your emails. So what your responsibility is to do is to contact your future group mates and to let them know you're on the same team. And then if you want to have like a Zoom chat with them, if you want to connect to them online, by all means. Yeah, okay. Jai, you had a question? Your hand was up?
Yes, my observation is, yeah, like she said also,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give it to you, waking up at 6 a.m. Wow, that's
Yeah.
like out
It
of this
happens.
world, you know. I
I can
left
handle
Canada
it.
last week. I
Yes.
could barely wake up early when I was in Canada. But
Yes.
anyway, that's good. The second thing I'm looking forward to is to get as much information as I can towards
Sure.
my PMP certification. I'm looking
forward to that.
towards that. Yeah, and yeah, thanks for all the information you've provided. Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome. I really like your feedback, guys. Another thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm also going to post the first few classes on video. So if you guys want to review the class, I've put a recording. I believe one of my students, she had some issues with the internet in her country. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post it. Another thing is normally I would post it and give it to you guys. I'll probably upload it to YouTube. Okay, so you have a discussion available on YouTube for you guys. Okay. Other than that, that concludes our class. I hope you guys have a good one. Thank you so much for attending class. Take care, guys. Stay safe, stay warm, and we will talk next week, hopefully. Same time, same place.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Professor.
Thank you so much.
everybody.
Have a
Bye.
good
Take
day.
care.
Bye. Thank you.
Is Mana? Can you get access to YouTube?
Professor, yes, with VPN sometimes, and I use it, but not really, easy. But I'm trying my best to do, yeah. And
Okay,
I don't
all right.
know what will happen because of our networking. And if you know, everything is banned here in Iran, especially right now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what's not banned in Iran? The PM book. You can get the PM book for free there. Yes. If okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'll try to do it on YouTube. If not YouTube, I'll give it cloud. And if you have any recommendations how to bypass your country's laws or anything like that, so I can post it
Yeah.
up, let me know, and I'll give you the hard copy.
Yeah, Professor, everything is banned here, even Google sometimes for
Yes.
searching. Yeah,
Yes.
but I try to use VPN for everything, and I'm trying my best to have access with everything else because cloud is over banned here again everywhere and every social
Oh.
media and platform which we can, transfer files or photos or whatever.
Yes.
Most of the time is banned here, yes. But I'm trying my best to connect with class and do my best.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Okay, so
Thank you
hopefully,
so much.
we'll figure out some solutions, and definitely we'll get you up to par with the deliverables.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Janera, you wanted one-on-one. 1 second. I'm just gonna open up a request for that, and I'll let the other team go. So if you guys don't have any other questions for me, you can quietly exit class, and I'm just gonna talk to Janera one-on-one. Thank you guys, and have yourself a good one. Janera,
Thank you, Professor.
you're very welcome. Take care. All right, so
Thank
I'm gonna open a room. Janera, please join the room, and I will join it very, very shortly. All right.